VCS HVR HD16X3, which is an analog 16-channel hybrid video recorder that can be set in complete analog 960H mode for your basic 700 TV line, 1000 TV line analog camera, or various hybrid modes depending on what the digital channel is set for. So if we default the HVR, we come to an IP address of 192.168.1.18. Now during testing we set this to the last, instead of 18 it would be 100, so you would just type http://192.168.1.100, and you can determine that locally at the HVR if you plug a monitor into it and set the network settings. I want to show you how to determine if you're on the correct local area network router gateway setting. So we just pulled up a run prompt in the lower left of our PC. We're on Windows 8.1, and we just typed cmd, which is going to bring up a DOS command. And at this DOS command, we want to check the gateway of our LAN. So I type ipconfig. And here I see the gateway. The default gateway is 192.168.1.1, so we're on the correct IP range. Now if you're on a different, if this is, for example, 192.168.0.1, then of course we need to get into the HVR recorder locally with the mouse and a monitor and change its gateway to 0.1, and also change its the HVR's IP address to something within that range that nothing else is using on your network. You can use DHCP if you're not sure what your other devices are using as far as an IP address. We can see that the Windows 8.1 machine that we're on right now is IP address internally on the local area network 192.168.1.106. So we're not going to assign 106 to any other device, including the HVR, IP cameras, etc. So get familiar with your router gateway. Know what the LAN parameters are, and write down what the other IP addresses. Even if your Android or iPhone has an IP address connected to Wi-Fi, just make note of that so that you don't have duplicate IP addresses on your network. If the IP camera, is set to what your Android or iPhone is set to, or your PC, it's going to stop the function of one or the other or both, because you're going to have duplicate IP addresses. Okay, so with that said, now we're connected to we've set the ActiveX controls correctly. So look in your quick tips guide to set the ActiveX controls to allow access to the HVR, and we've gone into the HVR with the default password, which is nothing, and admin. Or I'll try and reload that for you so that we can take a look at that. Again, I'm on Windows 8.1, and it's running all kinds of security scans. So here we are. Here we're at the login prompt. We're going to log in. This is how we know for sure that we're online, because we can log in. So I'm going to go to the there's my bitrate type. This is also going to be here. I'm just going to say OK to connect all video mainstream. Right now we have nothing on it. The first 8 would be for analog, and then 9 through 16 would be IP, because we're set for 8 and 8. So I'm gonna click the device config, and this is now into the brain, into the graphic user interface of the HVR. And what I want to do first of all is verify the channel type, because by default it's going to be up here at 16 analog cameras, and what I want is 8 analog at 960H and 8 IP cameras at 1080p. And you can see the various different configurations you can have in here. You can have 14 and 2, you can have 12 and 4, 10 and 6, 6 and 10 at 960p, 4 analog 12, 2 analog 14, 960p, 16 all by themselves at 960p. And now bear in mind, your 720p IP camera will record to the 960p camera channel. It's just going to stretch it. It's going to look like the edges are more than what the image is, but it's going to record in HD, and that's fine. So we've got it set for 8 and 8, which is the hybrid mode that we want. If you change it, it's going to prompt for a reboot. We're already at 8 and 8 because we changed it from 16 to this setting, and we've rebooted. So I'm going to say cancel to that so we don't have to wait for it to reboot. Now we're going to create the first digital channel. And if there's something already there, just go ahead and delete it, because we don't have more than one. We don't want to have more than one profile on each channel, because it's just going to get confusing. So the first channel we're creating is channel 9. We're going to click enable. I've clicked time. Some generic IP cameras can never keep the time right. They keep reverting back to Hawaii or Hong Kong time. If you use our same graphic user interface IP type cameras on the XM profile, you'll never have a problem with that. But here we're going to connect to a generic IP camera that's of a different graphic user interface. It's running ONVIF 2.0 or higher. So we click add, and we're going to go ahead and make sure the protocol is ONVIF. If we're using our XM profile, same GUI, contact your dealer. Contact us at support@VideoCameraSecurity.com. That's support@VideoCameraSecurity.com, and we can explain what net IP is. Our IP cameras run either ONVIF or net IP, and they can get more intelligent analysis functionality out of the net IP if you choose that. It's two different ports completely. So we're going to search for the mainstream. We know that the IP camera is connected on the local area network because we've connected to it through its HTTP interface, and it should come up as 192.168.1.121 because that's what we set it to. And we set it to this address because no other device is using it. So we've found it in a search, and we see that the ONVIF port that it's broadcasting is 8080. So we're going to say OK, except the password, we've set the password differently on this IP camera just to keep it secure. So we're going to go ahead and say OK to that. And OK. So there we've created this channel, saved it to the device, and now I can see it on the monitor. So I'm going to go ahead and open it here. So there it is. There's the channel we created with the IP camera, the basic generic IP camera that we just did a search for. And luckily, this HVR, the IP camera was of the quality that it was broadcasting the ONVIF port. Now, let's go back, and if your IP camera is some way off brand and it's not broadcasting that port, we'll show you how to add it manually if your camera dealer knows its ONVIF port that's compatible with all other brands. And remember, ONVIF is a streaming protocol like TCP/IP or Pelco. You know, those are one's a PTZ protocol, one's a network protocol, but it's a protocol, a digital streaming video protocol that all manufacturers have agreed to for interoperability, and it's got to be ONVIF 2.0 or higher to be a newer type ONVIF, and most of them are to ONVIF 3 and more. I can if you contact support at VideoCameraSecurity.com, I can put you in touch with a link to an ONVIF device manager that'll show you the ONVIF version of your IP camera, no matter what it is. So here, what I've done is deleted channel 9, and I see that it's gone away on my monitor, my local monitor. So I'm just going to stop it here as well. Oh, that's local record. So eventually it timed out. We'll go back into the device manager and create it manually. Now, I showed you how to search, but we're just saying that after we searched for this camera, nothing showed up here, which means that it's super generic IP camera. But the dealer has told us that the ONVIF port is, for example, 8080. Some have 8899. Some have the same port as the HTTP port. If it's set to 80, it'll be 80. If it's set to 8080, it'll be 8080. Some use the NET IP protocol port of 34567, which is changeable. So it really depends on the particular IP camera and your IP camera dealer. If they're saying that it's an ONVIF compatible camera, they need to know the interoperability ONVIF port. If you're using a DAWA, NVR, Hikvision, the XM profile, which is what we're on here, and that's the maker of AHD. So we're gonna enter this manually. So we make sure that the protocol is ONVIF. We've got the stream set to mainstream, and we remembered that our IP camera was set to 121. We've already connected, and our IP camera dealer told us that it's 8080, and told us, and we know the logon is all lowercase admin. Sometimes there's a uppercase A in there. It really depends. Log on to your IP camera directly to verify this information, because it's going to be the same. And then of course we set our password uniquely different than the default would be 1234556, and we just don't want the cloud to connect to this, so we've put our own password in it. We know what it is, but we're creating this manually. Alright, so here we go. So we've created the manual channel because for whatever reason the IP camera wasn't broadcasting its ONVIF port. We're going to go back down to 9. I can look over and see the monitor's already streaming it, and here we are. We're already onto the IP camera. I just showed you a kind of a really cool digital zoom feature that this HVR has. You can zoom into a particular area. figure out how to do that. We'll save that for another topic, but it does have digital zoom, and that about does it for this tutorial. We've created the channel, we've made it work, and just so you know where your network settings are, we're already connected, so you're going to see this same type of interface locally if you're with the mouse and monitor in front of the machine. This is where you can change it. The gateway is going to be the router address, the internal IP address of the router. We know that it's 192.168.1.1. We're on the subnet mask of 255 and 0 at the end. You gotta have this exactly the same as your router, and the IP address of this HVR, we've set it to 192.168.1.18. Normally in testing we set it to 100, so that's one of the two. These DNSs, you can set these, you can leave them the way that they are, or you can set them to the address of the gateway of your router, and that just gives a local naming service to your it just helps your software find it within your local area network. So we see the port here that works with the software, and then we've got the HTTP port, but this is the network settings within the HVR. So just to recap, digital channel 9 was what we created. We first made sure that we had a hybrid mode going, and once we clicked OK, it wanted to restart. Then we went in, did the digital channel, either searched for it or entered it manually with the correct password and username. And of course you're going to do this for every channel. Then the next one, you've got another IP camera that you just added. So you got that great 4 dome package we're offering, the free PoE injector on with the cables all ready to plug and play. Then you're going to set up channel 10, right? Channel 11, 12, 13, 14, channel 13, and for each one of them, then you're going to do a little search. And for our IP camera, it's going to be a lot easier, and you're going to have more functionality as far as motion detection. The time's going to be correct. But for now, this is how to connect a generic IP camera. So hopefully this helps. If not, give us an email, support@VideoCamerasecurity.com, and thanks for watching.